Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Vanita Sakar. I'm Director of Public Relations here at the University of St. Thomas. So happy that you're spending this next hour with us. We welcome all of you. This is a wonderful journey as you choose a university, and we hope you choose the University of St. Thomas. Did that video get you pumped up? I know it always gets me pumped up when I see it. As I mentioned, I'm the Director of Public Relations here at St. Thomas. But I'm also familiar with the journey that you're on. I am the mother of a senior, a daughter who goes to Highland Park Senior High in St. Paul. So we're going through this same process as well. So we're excited to share all the new things that are happening at St. Thomas. So much excitement here on this campus, and this next hour is going to be a lot of fun. Just to go over a couple of the housekeeping notes for this hour. As you are listening, you are on mute. So you can chit chat or comment with your parents or family members or just listen in. So just know that you are on mute. So the audio will be clean for this webinar. And we encourage you to ask questions on the Q&A function. So if you hover over the bottom, it says Q&A. Chat is not what we want to use for this forum. So if you have questions throughout the webinar, just put them in the Q&A. And at the end, after the presentations, I will be going through those and talking to our panelists. And we do have a great lineup of panelists here today to tell you about all the new things happening at St. Thomas. We're going to try to get to as many of your questions as possible because we are here for you. We want to answer the things that you have. And if we can't get to them, we have admissions professionals who will be contacting you. And of course, there's going to be a Zoom after this where you can get some personal attention, and I'll be telling you more about that as well. But first, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our first panel member. What will happen is each panel member will introduce themselves and tell you about their area and then send it on over to the next panel member. So we'll move along that way. And after the presentations, I will look through all the questions and we will try to get as many answered as we can in this hour. Again, thank you again so much for joining us. I am very pleased to introduce Assistant Athletic Director Tyler Gray, who is going to talk about some exciting things happening in athletics, like, you know, our move to D1. We're all pretty pumped up about it, Tyler.
Well, thank you, Vanita. I think one thing that became clear was excitement, right? And I certainly share in that excitement. And again, I'm Tyler Gray, Assistant Athletic Director for External Affairs over in athletics. And well, I'll tell you what, I'm excited to be here with you guys today. I think back to when I went through this process too, and that was 12 years ago now. But man, the excitement of choosing a school, and we happen to have a lot of exciting things going on right now in athletics as well. And Vanita touched on it. This is our last year in Division III. We've traditionally been a Division III institution, a member of the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, the MIAC, a great home for us for 100 years. We were a founding member of that conference and loved every bit of it. But what an exciting next step. Announced in July that we are now going to be transitioning and reclassifying to NCAA Division I. And what an exciting move for us. And, you know, I was watching that video, the culture of change, and I couldn't help but feel that we're continuing to push that forward. And this being one of those moves, is moving to Division I. So exciting for us to be making that move. And what that means is that we are moving from a Division III division, which is a very large division of the NCAA, to maybe a division that's more big schools, more recognizable schools. And as a part of that process, we're going through a 5-year transition period. And what that means is one of the big things that changes over time with this transition is that we go from not allowing athletic scholarships to allowing athletic scholarships. And there's some other things. We go from not having certain parameters in place academically to needing to meet certain levels, if you will, academically. And there are a number of different examples. But all of those things throughout this 5-year transition period, we are going to need to meet those expectations along the way. So that's kind of the 5-year transition period that we're going to go through, is that we have to start to build some different things and create some different opportunities within these 5 years to make sure that we are still an upstanding member of the NCAA and moving to Division I. So that's what that 5-year transition period really means. The other thing that's changing is we are going from being in one conference across all of our 22 varsity sports to now we're going to be in four different conferences, which we'll get into here in just a second. But that's going to be a bit of a change for us as well. The first conference that we are going to be joining is going to be kind of our main home, if you will. 19 of our 22 varsity sports are going to compete in the Summit League, and the Summit League is a really strong, mostly Midwest conference that we are really excited to join. We've got some, as you see those institutions there that we're going to be joining as our fellow conference members. Feel really good and really honored to be a part of this conference. There's some great schools, great institutions, and quite honestly, institutions that we feel like that we look like. And so you look down there and you've got all four of the Dakota schools, right? Those are going to be some great rivalries for us. You look at going out to Denver, what a great city to be able to compete in, and all the way down to Western Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago. So a really truly Midwest conference, and one that we feel strongly we're going to be able to develop rivalries in. And the other really cool thing about this conference, as you look down these institutions, most of these schools have gone through a reclassification from a lower division, or I should say a Division 2 or 3 to a Division 1. So the blueprint is there. We have a lot of great experience to draw from, and really excited about really making the Summit League our home, and looking forward to all the rivalries that we're going to be able to develop there. That's for 19 of our 22, and then we'll move into another conference that we are going to join is the WCHA. That's for women's hockey specifically, and this, you guys, this conference is, I think, inarguably the best women's hockey conference in the country, right? We've got the last 5 national champions that came out of this conference, and you look at some of these schools, we're going to be competing against Minnesota and Ohio State and Wisconsin. I mean, those are some of the biggest intercollegiate brands in the country, some of the biggest athletic departments. And, for us to be able to compete against them and really go toe to toe with them, it's going to be really exciting for us. And also another conference that really we're going to be able to develop rivalries because of the geographic footprint and the fact that that we're all so close in this Midwest area. Really, certainly excited to join the WCHA. On the men's side, we're joining the CCHA, the Central Collegiate Hockey Association. And this actually is a really interesting story, you guys. So the CCHA was a former conference that from a long time ago, some things shook up. I think this was maybe the mid 1990s, that some things shook up, and the conference basically disbanded. And just this last year, they announced that they are now going to reassemble. And there were 7 institutions that were going to be members of this conference. And this summer, we got the invite and we accepted the invitation to join this league as well. Something that we're certainly passionate about and really looking forward to. You look here, Minnesota State out of Mankato, they've had one of the top teams in the country the last couple of years. Too bad that the season got cut short due to health and safety concerns around COVID-19 this last year. But Minnesota State was on a roll. And so to be lining up against some of those teams that are certainly well respected around the country in Division I hockey, and go up against a team like Minnesota State Mankato, certainly a great opportunity for our men's hockey program as well. The final conference that we're going to be joining is the Pioneer Football League, and that is football specific. This is one that we're also really excited about. And as you look down some of these institutions, I mean, think about where we're going to be playing. There are institutions from Indiana and California and New York and Florida and South Carolina and Iowa. I mean, we're going to be across the entire country. And our football team is going to be playing in front of different people in different markets and all over the country, which is something that we're really excited about. And these institutions, I mean, quite frankly, these institutions are top-notch institutions. So we feel really blessed that we're going to be a part of this league as well. Certainly excited for our football program to continue to move forward at the Division I level as well. And so just to touch on what I just kind of mentioned, if we look at the map of where our teams are going to be competing, and this is just in the conference, if we look at that map, we are going to be playing in 19 different states. Okay. We even had to, you guys check this out. So we even had to come up with a secondary map because it was almost too full as it was, right? So if you take a look at that and where our teams are going to be playing, how awesome is it that St. Thomas is going to be in all of these different pieces of the country, 19 different states, and that's just our conference, you guys. That's just the conference affiliations that we have. So really excited to be able to extend our brand and kind of tell the story about St. Thomas and make sure that everybody around the country knows who we are. So as I kind of close here a little bit, and obviously we'll get to questions a little bit later. What does it mean that we're moving to Division I? Okay. For starters, by playing in those different states around the country, we're going to be more recognizable, right? St. Thomas, the institution, is going to be more recognizable around the country. And what does that mean for you guys that are on this webinar? That means that by no other reason than just recognition, your degree is going to become more valuable, right? More people are going to know what St. Thomas is. More people are going to know that St. Thomas is a high achieving academic school. It's a great institution that have great people that graduate from it, right? So more recognition equals more value for your degree, and it's going to be something that you can kind of hang your hat on. Additional resources and program, and there are going to be some things that we're going to be able to do now as an institution that we maybe couldn't before, either because of rules, whether that's NCAA or otherwise, or any other reasons. We're going to be able to provide more academic support. We're going to be able to provide more community service opportunities. We're going to be able to provide some more leadership development training and some other things like that, right? So more resources are going to be available with this move to Division I. Something that we are really excited about, that we can continue to push forward as an institution. But most importantly, you guys, whatever drew you to St. Thomas is going to remain. Right? Just because we're moving to Division I does not mean that we have to change how we do things or who we are or what we're about. The really cool thing is that we can still choose to be who we are, right? To act wisely, to think critically, and to pursue advancing the common good. And those are things that we're certainly going to stick with us as we make this transition. The best part is we'll seemingly have a bigger megaphone to project it from. Which is something that we're certainly really excited about and can't wait. Certainly want to have a great last year in the MIC, but are certainly looking forward to Division I as well. Thanks for your time. At this point, it's my pleasure to introduce a colleague and a friend of mine, our Associate Dean of Students and Director of Residential Life, Aaron Mackey. Aaron, take it away.
That's great. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that introduction and great job with that detailed explanation too of our big transition. Welcome everyone to this webinar, to families, and I know we have seniors and juniors likely listening and watching this webinar. As Tyler mentioned, my name is Aaron, and I have the opportunity to serve as our Associate Dean and Director for Residence Life. So working with students mostly out of the classroom and our living learning environments and leadership opportunities on campus, employment opportunities. So really that holistic experience for our students. And so I've been here a long time, over 20 years. I had an opportunity to go to school here as an undergraduate, and I played soccer for 4 years, and I coached as well for about 15 years after that in soccer. But I've worked in multicultural student services, I worked in campus life, and now here in residence life for about 14 years. And so I, like all the other panelists, are available to you anytime. It's not just through this webinar. As you're going through this experience where you're learning more about St. Thomas and you're exploring all the institutions that you're likely looking at, please reach out to us via phone or email and pick our brains about a whole number of things, because we love the institution and we have our areas of specialty here, but we also know a lot of various things about the school, so please reach out to us. I'd like to spend a little time here talking with you about what it means to come into housing and the first year experience. I, like Vanita, also have a child who's a senior in high school. There's a lot of us around campus here. He's a senior and he's looking at schools, and these are questions he's asking me too about other schools as we're looking, and of course as we're looking here at St. Thomas, and he's exploring different options and wondering about different things. So I hope this information is helpful to you. So as you come into school here as a first year, if you decide this is the place that's best for you, know that we start here with living on campus. And so first year students and second year students live on campus here. We call it a residency requirement. You'll see this as a very common thing at most schools that you will look at across the country. Some will have a 1 year, 2 year, 4 year. We are a 2 year residency. And so what that means is that if you're a first year student, you'll live on campus with us. And then as you move from that first year to that second year, you'll continue living on. And what that does is it, one, guarantees you housing. So you still apply, you put in deposits, you go through an application, you preference with us, but we're going to guarantee you a place to live. So you don't have to worry about that. And that's even more important as you go from your first year to your second year, so that you're not looking for, well, what does it mean in my second year to rent or to move off campus? Or do I have to try and find something in a hurry before everything fills up? We want to make sure that you can go from that first year to that second. You're not worrying about those pieces and having an opportunity to continue that living in that learning community here on campus. So you will be the first cohort that will actually start that coming in here this next fall if you're a senior. And so that's an exciting opportunity for you to engage and really develop some camaraderie with a cohort of students. As part of our new learning requirement, as part of our new curriculum for the institution, we have what we call learning community requirement. And this is a choice that you'll have. So as you come in to St. Thomas, you're going to be able to pick between a living learning community or a theme-based learning community. And I'll say a little bit more about those in a bit as I get onto some other slides. As a first-year student, you'll also have an opportunity to take a first-year experience course. This is a 1-credit course that all of our first-year students take. Thomas, if you want to go back one, that'd be great. Thank you. And this is really a transition course for you to go from high school into college. And so you're taking it with only first-year students. You will explore various topics that are important to your 4 years here at St. Thomas, important to our mission, and important to your learning. It's also an opportunity for you to meet a lot of different staff and faculty and explore campus. So it's really about transitioning from high school into college, learning some academic pieces, some learning community requirements, and just ways to navigate the college campus. You will also engage in what we call the Tommy Advantage, and this is our co-curriculum. So this is all that learning that happens outside the classroom. We use an application called Tommy Link, and this is where you're really going to track your 4 years here at St. Thomas. So you're going to track your club and org involvement, your leadership opportunities. We have what we call pathways. So these are things in various topic areas that you may choose to explore. That might be career, it might be sustainability, it might be diversity, equity, and inclusion. And these are just topic areas that you can get more knowledge and more learning into as you go through St. Thomas. This is also a perfect place for you to start building your portfolio. So as you go through St. Thomas, you're going to want to track all these things that you're doing and learning. So when you start to go apply for internships in that sophomore year, that junior year, when you start to go and apply for jobs and career opportunities for when you graduate, you're going to be able to go back into this portfolio, if you will, and grab all that experience and all that learning that you've had. And that helps you go into these, resume building, it helps you go into interviewing and everything else. So we really want to try and give you that foundation that's out of the classroom so you can merge it with the in-classroom learning, and you're really set to go when you graduate from here in 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it may take. Well, now move on to talk a little about learning communities, living learning communities. So that's one of the requirements of our learning community requirement. And so you'll have a choice as you come in. And as you go through the onboarding process of coming into St. Thomas, we will give you lots more detailed information, so don't worry about retaining all this. But we just wanted to get you some things that really help set us apart, and some things you might learn about as you look at other schools. A lot of schools have living learning communities. We want you to be familiar with those with us at St. Thomas as well too. This is a course that is a first-year course. It's a course that might be within your major. It's a major path type of course, likely, doesn't have to be. You take the course, and then you also live in a community with the students in that course. And what we really focus on in this particular experience is that in-depth relationship and learning with a faculty member. There's a lot of out-of-class activities that happen with the living learning community. You really get to know your classmates and then your hallmates better. And so it's really about in-depth experiences, learning, and relationship. It's a great way to get further down into your major. It's also a great way to meet new people. So if you're coming to St. Thomas feeling like you're kind of new to it, you're not coming with this big cohort of students, maybe not coming with a best friend, you're coming from out of state, it's a great way really to get an in-depth experience. We also have what are called a theme-based learning community. This is not connected to housing in terms of who your roommate would be, but this is an interdisciplinary approach to learning. So as a first year, you would pick 2 courses, and those 2 courses would be in a theme. So it's a mission-based theme. It might be diversity, it might be sustainability, it might be faith, Catholic identity. So pick a theme, and then there's going to be 2 courses that you'll explore in an interdisciplinary way. And again, another great opportunity to transition from high school to college, meet a lot of people, meet friends, and really explore our mission through an interdisciplinary lens. So those are 2 things that you'll have a choice on. You'll pick one of the 2 when the time comes, and that really starts your path academically through the institution. We will now move on to talk a little bit about housing. So we have lots of housing on campus, lots of residence halls. You can tour these virtually through our virtual tours. You can come onto campus and tour them. You can also go to our Residence Life website, and we have some 360 virtuals and some YouTube videos and a lot of different things to look at too. The most important thing to remember about first year housing is it's community living. So when you come in as a first year, you'll have a roommate. You'll live in a community setting where you will share a common bath. That common bath could have anywhere from 10 to 20 students sharing it. You're going to have, community corridors and floor space, study rooms, lounges. So things you're going to see at a lot of other institutions, but it's community living. We made a heavy investment in this first year experience this last year by building a new first year residence hall. It's called Tommy North. It's a big, beautiful building. It's got dining in it and great common space with our studies and our lounges, and so a great opportunity. We are also investing in renovations, so we're taking some of our current residence halls and we're updating those with renovations. We did Ireland Hall last year, now we're looking to do Brady and Dowling moving forward. So again, making that investment in that first year experience and that first year housing experience is really important to us. And then, as I mentioned earlier, you're going to move from that first year into your second year in housing. So it's important that we also start introducing you to that second year housing. And I know it seems a long way off, but just something to be thinking about as you go visit schools is you're likely going to want to keep living on campus as you move through it. And so here at St. Thomas, what we try and do in that second year is provide more options, more independence, some more selection. So in that first year, we're going to make the assignment for you. We'll assign you to a hall and to a roommate. You'll give us preferences on what that looks like, but we do a lot of that assigning. As you go into your second year, you're going to get to choose. We got this really nice app that you go into and you pick the different halls, you look at them, you actually pick your room, you pick your roommates, and you have lots of different choices as you go into that second year. So it might be in a community living situation like you have in that first year. A lot of students are still looking for that even as they're turning 19 and 20 years old. It might be in something that we call suite style. So you'll have a roommate, but now instead of 10 or 20 people sharing a common bath, it's 2, 3, 4, 6. So it's a smaller number. You're closer to kitchens and study space. And so you're just doing more independent living. Or you might have an opportunity to select into one of our apartment style residence halls. And this is really, it's an apartment. It's a single bedroom. It's a shared living room and shared kitchen, but it's still in a residence hall setting right here on campus where it's close to classes and it's close to the athletic and recreation and to the libraries and to our quads. And so where we provide safety and security and full-time staffing. So again, all that on-campus living with just a lot more options as you go into that second year, which is what you're going to be looking for. And then, of course, to finish things off, we know it's always important to our students. I know it is to my senior son as he goes and visits schools, is, well, where do I eat and what do I eat and how's the food? And so just to let you know, too, just as we've invested in the first year experience and first year housing, we've invested significantly in our dining as well, too. So as I mentioned, Tommy North Residence Hall was built. It has a dining venue inside it called the NURSII. This is one of our 2, what you call cafeteria style kind of venues. So the View and NURSII. This is where you would go as a first year and second year with a meal plan. You go in, you can go in any time of the day. You can grab something as simple as coffee and a bagel, or you can grab a full meal and you can go in and out as much as you want. So it's not, you're not penalized and you don't feel like you have to eat everything when you go in there, even though it isn't all you care to eat. We really want to try and provide a healthy way for you to get dining here on campus. So there's 2 great large venues that way. We also have lots of retail venues. So a place called Scooters and Teas, so you can get pizza and burgers and a whole variety of different things, coffee carts. And so there's just lots of options here on campus here at St. Thomas. And you can have a meal plan. You can have what we call dining dollars. And so these are, you go in and it's kind of a la carte. So if something may cost $9 or $6 and it just comes off of your balance. We also have this great program called Express Funds. We've had it for many, many years, and this allows you to go off campus. You don't have to just eat on campus. We got partnerships with local places like Applebee's and Devani's and Chipotle where you can go off campus, use your St. Thomas ID card, and pay for food off campus too. Because we know that when you go off to a college, you don't want to just be on campus too. You want to explore the nearby area, and we have such a great location here with the Twin Cities. here in St. Paul, Minneapolis. It's in a neighborhood, and it's just a wonderful place to be. And so we want to make sure you have an opportunity to get off campus and do some dining too. So great investments on campus, great opportunities off campus, and we hope that just all that put together makes for a great living learning experience for you in your first and second years, particularly. We'll talk about junior, senior year once you get here, okay? I'd like to at this time now turn the presentation over to Father Larry Blake. Father is our chaplain here on campus, and he'll talk a little bit about that spiritual life and spiritual journey here at St. Thomas. Father?
Thank you, Aaron, for the nice introduction. I was thinking about the fact that when you came to St. Thomas 20 years ago, I was beginning my priestly ministry about the same time. And that ministry has taken me throughout the Twin Cities and around the world. And now I'm here for the last 4 years, going on 5 now, here at the University of St. Thomas. And I'm so happy to be a part of this community. This is really a wonderful place to learn, to live, and to work. And so I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about our Office for Campus Ministry. I am, as Aaron said, the University Chaplain and Director of this office. Our mission is really to seek to develop the spiritual well-being of all of our students. We have a very professional staff that work toward that end, who take seriously that mission to reach out across the whole university. And we work principally in 3 areas. I would list those 3 areas as service and social justice. That area works on our vision program. It's kind of like a mission program, but even larger than a mission program or a mission event. We have the Office for Spirituality that does retreats and days of reflection. We do as many as 10 or 12 retreats annually that are open to our students. We do days of reflection that are on campus, and those are typically half-day events that are held either in a dorm area or our Anderson Student Center, or now in our brand new Iverson Center for Faith, which we just opened up here this summer, a beautiful building adjacent to the Chapel of St. Thomas Aquinas. We are a very diverse, inclusive, ecumenical, and interfaith staff, and I'd like to just say a little bit about who we are. On our staff, in addition to myself, we have 2 Dominican priests who work with us. They work half-time here in this office and half-time in the theology department teaching classes. We also have a Dominican brother, and he's here as part of an internship experience, but he works with our students regularly, helping them as they come into the office, seeking questions, seeking answers to some of the questions they have regarding their faith. We have a Jewish rabbi who works with our Jewish students and also works with all of us to help us understand that wonderful tradition and how it's so connected to our own faith. And she's been a wonderful addition to our staff here. We have a Muslim educator. She's not an imam, but she holds her doctorate's degree in education and also does work among our Muslim students. We have a Presbyterian pastor who works on our staff as well. And all of these people are so deeply committed to working with you as you seek to develop that spiritual component of your life. What are some of the other things that we do? We do worship, of course, regularly, Catholic Mass. In our chapel, you can see a picture of our chapel there in the frame. We do every Sunday evening, we do a Christian worship service here in Iverson Center for Faith, which is ecumenical, open to all of our Christian students. On Fridays, we do a Friday prayer for our Muslim students led by our Dr. Sadaf Shire, who is our Muslim chaplain. And our Jewish rabbi works with our students around all of the major holidays and holy days on the Jewish calendar to see that they have what they need to observe those days according to their tradition. The other thing that we always tell students is we provide a space here within campus ministry where you simply can come, feel welcomed, be recognized for who you are, and find people who are happy to visit with you. Oftentimes, we have students come into this space, they simply want to sit, have a cup of coffee, talk with one of us about what's going on in their life, and we're very, very happy to do that for them. So I do hope that when you have a chance, you'll, if you're visiting here on campus, that you'll stop at the Iverson Center for Faith. As I said, it's a beautiful addition to our chapel and really ties in some of the areas that Aaron talked about. It's connected to Tommy North on the north side. It's connected to the new second-year dorm, Tommy East, as well as other locations on the campus. I've been telling some of the students who are visiting in person that if you're living in Tommy North in the middle of the winter and all of your classes are either in Mary Herrick, which is just south of us, or OEC, another building, or you're going to the library, you can leave your coat in your room because you can walk through our space and get to all of those other locations without going outside in the middle of the winter. So it is a wonderful space. If you can't visit us in person right away, please go out on the website, Campus Ministry at the University of St. Thomas, and you'll find a lot of pictures out there. So thank you. Please, if you have questions, be certain to email me or give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you at any time. And now I'd like to introduce Dr. Erin Curran to you this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. So you've heard a lot about the university, and I'm here to talk to you about the Morrison Family College of Health. But before I do that, I'm going to start with a personal story. And the reason I'm going to start with this is totally unplanned, but it stems to something that I think a lot of my colleagues have talked about so far on this call. And I too, at the risk of sounding like I'm copying my colleagues, I too have a high school senior who has been looking at colleges over the last year. She, among many things, is an athlete. And last year as a junior, she was invited out on several official visits to visit Division I teams for a weekend. And she received a scholarship offer and she accepted it. But she accepted it reluctantly. And she, you know, it was a good offer. It was a great school. And so she said, well, I think maybe this is where I'm supposed to go. And when the University of St. Thomas announced their decision that they were going D1, I said to her, why don't you just check it out? I think St. Thomas has something to offer you that maybe you didn't anticipate. So this is a kid that already has a scholarship, has already made a verbal commitment, and she came to St. Thomas's campus. We met with the coach. She was able to go and visit colleagues of mine who run departments in areas that she's interested in pursuing academically. And we spent the afternoon on campus. And before the end of the day, she said, Mom, I think I got that feeling that I was supposed to get when I went to the university that I accepted their offer from, but I didn't get it. And that's why I was so hesitant. I was thankful for the offer, but I actually got that feeling on St. Thomas's campus. And it's the kind of thing that you can't force, but in the environment that we offer on St. Thomas, so we've got beautiful facilities, we've got wonderful faculty, fabulous staff, but many of our students talk about coming on campus and just getting that feeling that there's something really special here. And it's hard to really put your finger on what that is, because it's not always a tangible thing. But if you get the chance to visit campus, our new facilities, our old facilities, if you get the chance to talk with our faculty and some of our staff, I think you'll have a really interesting time. And my hope is that you also get that feeling about what's special about St. Thomas and what it has to offer. So the area that I work in is the Morrison Family College of Health, and we are the newest college on St. Thomas's campus. Having said that, I've been here at the university. This is actually my 13th year. The new Morrison Family College of Health has been put together to both pull together some of our existing programs in health that were already on campus and to develop new programs in more traditional health disciplines. So the question that a lot of people might be asking is, you know, why is St. Thomas getting into the healthcare practitioner business? And why now, in light of all the instability that seems to be surrounding us, you know, day after day after day? And I would argue that that instability is part of what really creates a need for St. Thomas to get into this space, right? So there's a strong and increasing need for healthcare practitioners and community leaders in the US. And a College of Health is really essential to the University of St. Thomas advancing its mission of contributing to the common good, right? And we are also a College of Health that has programs that are designed specifically to draw from the Catholic intellectual tradition and Catholic social teaching. So if you know anything about Catholic social teaching in particular, Catholic social teaching is all about social justice and caring for all of humanity. And that is a thread that's woven through every single one of our academic programs in this College of Health very intentionally. And that thread, it weaves through both our core curriculum, our allied curriculum, and our major curriculum. So when we graduate healthcare practitioners, those are going to be people who not just can treat people's symptoms, but can actually look at society and the systems that are in place and ask questions about how those systems contribute to things like health inequities. Those are the kinds of healthcare practitioners that St. Thomas is going to produce. The other thing that we have working in our advantage in this college is that there are a number of well-established programs across the university that we can draw from to help build our own programs. So I'm working very closely with the faculty and the administrators who run programs like theology and psychology and biology and data analytics. And they're helping us develop healthcare programs that are absolutely on the cutting edge of healthcare. So a little bit about our College of Health and the programs that we currently offer, as well as some programs that we intend to offer in the very near future. Currently, we have Health and Exercise Science as a department, and within that department, they have programs in exercise science, public health, and health promotion. And for those students who are thinking about careers in OT, in PT, so occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, rec therapy, those sorts of disciplines, health and exercise science is often a way that they get there. Okay, we also have a graduate school of professional psychology, and so this is for graduate students only. The programs that are offered in that school are masters in counseling psychology and a doctorate in counseling psychology. We have a school of social work where students can pursue bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in social work. And our newest offering is a school of nursing. And this School of Nursing is something that I've been working on really hard since I arrived in the College of Health a few months ago. But we will, in 2 years, offer our first class for bachelor's and master's in nursing students. So our School of Nursing, we just hired our founding director, and she has several decades of experience both in nursing practice and in running nursing programs, including she's currently a nursing dean. So she is coming and starting here full-time in a couple of weeks to help develop our programs. Our target start date for both our bachelor's in nursing and our master's in nursing is fall of 2022. And like I said, in our programs, we have a special emphasis across the board on whole person wellness, health disparities and social justice, healthcare policy and ethics, and interprofessional collaboration. And it's really those elements that serve to distinguish our programs at the University of St. Thomas. Our nursing school is not going to be just a small school. Within about 4 years of its initiation, we have projected enrollments of about 450 Bachelor of Science in Nursing students and around 100 Master of Science in Nursing students.
Wonderful. Dr. Curran, thank you so much for that. And thanks to all of our panel members. This has just been a great rundown of some of the exciting things happening. So now, here comes our time for questions. Our panel members are going to be sticking around to answer your questions. Already some questions coming in that I'm going to go through. One thing I do want to mention that we are recording this webinar. So if someone wasn't able to attend from your family, whether it's a student or parent or another family member, please know that we are recording it and you will get a link to it and it will be posted on our website. So just wanted to keep you informed of that. Let's dive into some questions. Again, use the Q&A function down below. If you hover down below, you can send questions, and if you want to direct it to a specific person, or I can give it to a specific person who has already spoken. So our first question is, Catholic faith formation is important to our family. With so much attention to other faiths, how will my child's Catholic faith be strengthened? Father Larry?
Well, thank you, Vanita. And that is a wonderful question. And I want to say in answer to that question that the staff here at Campus Ministry is predominantly Catholic. When I mention our other chaplains, these people work along with Catholic staff here. I think it's fair to say that the opportunities we have here on our campus to deepen your Catholic faith are as rich and plentiful as you would find in any Catholic university. We have daily Mass 3 times a day. We have daily confessions 2 times a day. We have weekend Masses on Saturday and 2 times on Sunday. In addition to that, there are opportunities for adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. This is something the students have organized and we support it, but this is available to all of our students to have a time when they pray before the Blessed Sacrament. I mentioned the retreats, of course, and days of reflection, but truly you can come to the University of St. Thomas and know that your Catholic faith will have an opportunity to be deepened and enriched by your experience here at the university.
One follow-up question to that. That was great. What percentage of your students would you say go to Sunday Mass? And you talked a little bit about this, but how many chapels are on campus?
Yes, okay. Well, first question, percentage. It's a little hard to gauge this year because of COVID-19, and we, in trying to provide a healthy and safe environment for all of our students, we've really had to restrict the number of students that can be in the chapel at the same time. For instance, the chapel seats about 500, and now we're only able to seat 72 in that space. But we do have an overflow space that we use in the new Iverson Center for Faith. So I think what percentage? I think it would be easier for me to say that we roughly get between 200 and 300 students here for weekend Masses. And students also have an opportunity to go to parishes in the community adjacent to our campus. So about 300, I would say, on a Sunday are here at Mass. How many chapels we have? Well, we have here on our main campus, we have the Chapel of St. Thomas Aquinas. In the Catholic Studies building, which is on the corner of Summit and Cleveland, we have Albert Magnus Chapel. Over at the Minneapolis campus, if you're over there, and undergraduate students aren't over there as often, of course, as our graduate students, but we do have classes in business over there and in education. And there is a chapel in the law school over there, St. Thomas More Chapel. Then our major seminary, the St. Paul's School of Divinity, has a chapel on their campus as well. We have a small meditation chapel in Coach Commons. We also have a meditation room in Anderson Student Center.
Okay, those are excellent. Thank you so much for those answers. I'm going to direct this one to Dr. Curran. This person wants to know if, do you have to be spiritual or religious to thrive at the university? And I think you can also go into a little bit of some of the core curriculum involved in the theology requirements as well.
Yeah. You know, I would say that, so I've actually been doing some reading lately on Catholic social teaching. And I think Catholic social teaching is something that anyone and everyone who has goodwill can connect to, right? So Catholic social teaching is all about, you know, understanding that people have dignity, that dignity is not, you know, needing to be earned, that people have certain rights that don't need to be earned, they just have them by virtue of being a human being. Of caring for the poor and the marginalized and the people on the fringes of society, that making that an important part of your life. I know an awful lot of people who wouldn't necessarily identify as religious and maybe not even as spiritual, who definitely connect with those very same ideas. And every religion that I'm familiar with connects with those ideas. And because of that, I really do think that St. Thomas is a place where if you're Catholic, you certainly can grow and deepen your faith. But if you're not Catholic, there is also every opportunity to grow in your understanding of the world around you, to connect with humanity. And frankly, that's what many of us want to do. And I think that that's what sort of brings all of us together here at the University of St. Thomas, regardless of what, you know, religion we might bring with us to the table here. So I will also just talk briefly about the core curriculum to sort of extend what Father Blake was talking about. In the core curriculum, in terms of sort of deepening your Catholic faith, and really just deepening your understanding of theology in general, there's an aspect of the core curriculum that every student has to take part in, whether they're Catholic or not Catholic, and that has them taking courses in both theology and philosophy. So every student takes a 100 level theology course, the same one, and every student takes a 100 level philosophy course. And then every student also has the opportunity to choose a third, either theology or philosophy course, depending on their interests. And so somebody who comes from a very strong Catholic background might choose a third course that is really strongly tied to Catholicism. If you're not strongly tied to Catholicism and have maybe a greater interest in, you know, comparative theologies or in ethics, even bioethics or social justice, your third theology or philosophy course can be in that realm. So I would say that I think that on this campus, there's a great deal of opportunity for both Catholics and non-Catholics to grow sort of in their connection with humanity and their connection with faith and theology if they so choose.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Curran. This next question is for Tyler Gray in athletics. What percentage of the student body are student athletes, and do your student athletes have things like mandatory study sessions and support while they travel? And I know, how will that change, or will it change as we move to D1?
Yeah, great. Certainly great questions. So right now, We have roughly about 700 student athletes, which equates out to about 12% of our student body. This is undergraduate only, but 12% of our student body are student athletes. And one of the things that we've really seen is that our athletes are really involved throughout campus too, right? They're not just student athletes, but they're also a member of this club, or they're involved in other things on campus. So you see some of our student athletes kind of popping up in a number of different areas around campus, which is something that is really cool for us to see, and something that we certainly encourage. To address the mandatory study sessions or study halls, or whatever you want to call them, while traveling, right now we typically don't, because a lot of our travel is so local, right? So when our teams are going for a game or a competition right now, it's pretty much a bus ride there and a bus ride back. That's likely going to change, or that is going to change, I should say, as we make this transition. And that's a part of that 5-year transition period, is that's one thing that's expected, that when your teams are traveling, and there's going to be some more overnight travel, when those trips happen, there's going to be a study table or a study session, if you will, that is set aside for our student athletes to make sure that they're on top of their academic endeavors as well. So as of right now, just simply because of the nature of the travel, it's not. But in the future, as the travel becomes a little more expanded, there certainly will be time dedicated to academics on the road.
Okay, thank you so much, Tyler. This next one is for Aaron Mackey in Res Life. You had mentioned for their first year that you matched them for roommates. This is always a big question, I think, for first year students. What input do the students have in that match?
Yeah, that's a great question. As you onboard into college, it gets down to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. People want to know who they're living with and where they're living and what they eat and where they eat. And that's mostly the questions we get from families as they're coming in. And it's very understandable. It's the questions my students going to be asking too. So it can be complicated and not complicated. So I'll just say there's a preference form. And when you apply, you get accepted. We ask you to put in a deposit, just a confirming deposit. And what that does is it kind of puts you in the process, puts you in play. And then what we do is we send you housing, sends you a preference form. And this is your first opportunity to start telling us what you want. And there's a lot of things that we're going to ask you for. Like I mentioned, it starts the academic process by picking a living learning community or a theme-based learning community. And that's really important because that actually feeds into who your roommate would be. It feeds into where the hall will be. It feeds a lot of stuff that happens for you in that first year. So that's a piece of what we're going to ask you. We will then also ask you for some preferences on halls. And it's one of these systems where you can give a 1 for your top preference down to a 5 or something. There's different questions on there. So we ask things like, study habits. Do you want your room to be a place of study or to be more social? What time do you like to go to bed or get up in the morning? Some real key kind of questions to help us match you with someone who will match and live well with you. And then we do provide an opportunity for you to give us a request. And so this is where, if you are coming to St. Thomas and you do have a request, you have someone that you met over the summer, you have someone that you went to high school with or on a sports team or in a band with or whatever it might be, and you say, we'd like to live together. If the both of you put yourselves on each other's preference form, we will do our best to match you. Now, we might ask some other questions like, again, if one of you signed up for a TBLC and one signed up for an LLC, well, that's not going to work. So then we call you and we kind of walk through, well, what's most important to you? So at the end of the day, it's down the road, but we're going to try and get your preferences. And we really want to hear your voice about what you think you want out of this college experience. And then we work with you, really, it's about late spring, so April, May into June. And then as you go through orientation, we will then send out, and this is when the course assignments come out. It's also a housing assignment will come out for you too. And then you'll know the hall and your roommate, hall director, contact information, and then we try and help you connect with them throughout the summertime.
And a follow-up, Aaron, just kind of a two-part here.
Mm-hmm.
What are the benefits? We've got 5 minutes left. What are the benefits of an LLC versus TBLC? And how do you select an LLC if you're not 100% sure on your major?
Yeah. And so you're going to get things in the mail. You're going to get some emails. You're going to get websites to go through. It's part of the new curriculum that we passed, and it has this first year experience in it. We think it's really important for our first year students. But it does take some diving into, because you do want to read on these and learn about them. some real basic differences. A living learning community has a connection to housing. So it will have a learning community. It's got a hall, it's got a floor, it's got roommates. Who you take your course with is who you're going to live with. So there's that connection there that you may want, you may not want. And so there's some decision factors. It tends to be in a course that might be a major for you. So if you think you're going to go down the road of healthcare or sustainability or business or engineering, et cetera, this is a good way to start that path. It doesn't require it, but it is a good way to do it. The theme-based learning community is new to St. Thomas for us, and it's really our approach into interdisciplinary learning. And it's a way to take 2 courses. So it might be English, it might be theology, it might be business and philosophy, and to look at an important theme through the lens of both curriculums. And so that's a great way for you to really explore something like sustainability, which is big, or diversity, or faith, in a real big concept, real world concept, but explore it through 2 different disciplines. And so there's a lot of excitement too, and that kind of learning and taking those 2 courses. So it's really what you're looking for and what you want out of that academic experience, and then what you also want to get out of that housing experience. And so we'll talk more with you about that. There'll be more opportunities to learn about it, but those are some of the basic differences.
Okay, and stay right there, Aaron. One more, just to close it out here before we close down this thing. Do your in-person visits that are self-guided during them, can you see dorm rooms?
Well, so right now, we restrict everything going into the halls. So right now, no, that's why we're doing so much virtually. And we put so many videos up online. We do have one showroom, and it's in Dowling Hall, that we make available. And so the in-person visits to campus right now are going into that space, and they're seeing what generally a room looks like. And it looks like most of the rooms in most of our halls for a first-year student. And then there's some information in there too about what residence life living is like. As we get into spring and we start onboarding the class a little bit more, and we start having more special events, we have tour rooms and 4 halls set aside. So depending on what happens with COVID-19 and restrictions and where students can go, if you hang on long enough with us, by the time that we get to end of spring, hopefully we'll have several different halls. We also try and do an event called Res Life Night. We don't know what this is going to look like this year, but that's an opportunity for you to come to campus and only see the residence halls. So we feed you, we do some presentations with you, and then you get to see all of the residence halls, and you start to fill out your housing preference form. We don't know how that's going to look this year, where it's kind of wait and see, but stay tuned.
Wonderful. Well, this has been a fantastic hour. Thanks to all of you for attending. We really appreciate it. We hope you're sensing some of the excitement here that's happening at St. Thomas, and thanks to all of our panel members as well. Just a couple of things to let you know. We have some current students hanging out in a Zoom meeting room right now, and they are ready to connect on any questions you might have, maybe just student to student. We'd love for you to join them. If you'd like to meet a current student, we'll be adding a link to that breakout room in the chat, and you can look at it there. Simply click on the link, and then you can exit out of this meeting. And also, we're going to be putting up some contact information on the screen for you to use if you have additional questions. Remember, this webinar was recorded, so if you wanted to show it to someone, we will be sending you the link, and it will be available on our website. Good luck in this journey as you choose your university where you want to end up, and we hope that you'll have some tummy pride and join us here at the University of St. Thomas. Thanks again. Have a great evening.